Why does a block of plastic released under water come up to the surface of the water? So this is a simple straightforward question, but let me explain the answer in a bit more technical way. First, we'll begin with free body diagram of the object in fluid. So we know that any object in fluid experience a pull down and a push up. So the net force will be mg minus fb, provided we take downward as positive direction. Now along with this, let's recall Newton's second law and first law. What does the first law tell? If the net force is equal to 0, the final velocity will be equal to initial velocity, right? If the net force is not 0, then the final velocity will not be equal to initial velocity, that is, the object will accelerate. Okay guys, so it won't be 0 basically. Acceleration will be positive, not negative. It can be both. It can be any actually. Now let's look at different cases. There are 3 cases between these two. They can be equal, one can be greater than the other, and the other way around is also true. When mg is greater than fp, right, when these two terms are, this particular condition is satisfied between these two terms, what happens to f net? Yes, it would be negative. It would be positive value, right? It would be a positive value. What does that mean? The force would be pointing downward. And if there is a force that is non-zero, what happens? The object will accelerate. That is, in this case, it will sink. Agree? That is, the weight is more than the buoyant force, so the object will sink. Okay, now, if they are equal, that is, f net will be 0, is it not? So what will happen to the object? Wherever it is, it will stay there. There will be no movement. So if it's 0, if u is 0, v will also be 0. Agree guys? Right, if we just place the object at this spot, what happens? The final velocity will also be 0. Now, if mg is lesser than fp, what does that mean? F net, in terms of f net, it means it is negative. And what is the direction of negative? Since down is positive, negative is up. So if the force is in the upward direction, right? If the force is in the upward direction, where will be the acceleration? Acceleration will be upward. So if u is 0, if we just keep it over there, then v will be a negative value. That is, it will start moving up. So this is your answer. When we hold a plastic, any material inside, right, there will be a buoyancy force which will be more than the weight of the object. So the net force will be negative, that is pointing in the upward direction. So the velocity will also be negative. Is it not? Basically, it's pointing in the upward direction. Agree? So that's why it rises up. So how do you put it as an answer? Plastic underwater would displace water whose weight will be more than its weight. As a result, the buoyant force would be more than its weight. Agree? Thus, a positive net force will be pointed in the upward direction. This result in the object coming up. As simple as that. Okay guys. So please pause and have a look at this answer. Yes, writing this is helpful. Please do write that. And for your exam, this is the answer. The same thing, but in words. So the key words over here is more than its weight. Is it not?